Hello muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. So I'm currently getting ready and I wanted to talk about what is currently going on. First of all, love this hoodie that I got at the Disney store. I'm currently in Dublin. If you want to know why I'm in Dublin, I'm having a nightmare situation with my American visa. It's been a very, 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 I've fully broken out in rashes all over my body because it's so stressful. I spoke about it a lot in my video yesterday that I posted on this channel, and thank you so much. I've been getting so much feedback and all the rest. I just want to clarify that the manager that I speak about in that video is my tour manager, not my manager that I'm hiring on Tuesday. Like, I'm getting management for the first time in my life and they're starting on Tuesday. So the manager I'm talking about in that video is not a manager that I already have. It's a tour manager from the tour company. Just to clarify, because a lot of people were like, why would you hire this person and they're doing all this? Just to clarify. But anyway, that video is separate from this video. So, TikTok is banned. And I have a lot of thoughts about it and I just want to talk. And I know that it's a really hard day for a lot of people. And I also don't like that people are making fun of people for struggling today. Obviously, I'm in Dublin and my TikTok hasn't been banned because it is very much something that is happening in the United States, and it's been something that has been talked about for, you know, a very, very, very long time, and people didn't know if it was going to go through or not. It was this back and forth for a long time period, right? Was TikTok going to get banned? Was TikTok not going to get banned? And I know that there hasn't been a lot of information, really, that the American people have been getting regarding the ban. So much so that people didn't know if the app was going to just be on a blackout, if the app was going to be removed from your phone, if it would crash, if it would still be usable for like weeks until eventually, you know, it would start to break down. People didn't know. The communication was terrible. Like, actually terrible. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say something that I'm not seeing enough people talk about. So, right now on my social media, I'm seeing so many people being like, Trump is going to save TikTok. And people are, like, celebrating Trump and being like, this is amazing, like, basically making Trump a hero for the fact that, like, the Trump administration on Truth Social are like, we need to save TikTok, we're, you know, creating a plan to save TikTok. And I'm seeing all these people be like, oh my god, President Trump, like, you're saving us, and all like this, and I'm like, okay, just want to, like, make sure we're all on the same page, right? It was Trump that was one of the first people pushing for the TikTok ban, just so we're aware. And we're clarifying that, right? So, Trump is one of the first people making noise about TikTok needing to be banned. And then when the Biden administration come in, who are now leaving tomorrow, or I guess they've already left, I don't know how that works, the transition phase. The Biden administration, because as well, the Democrats are fucking stupid as well. You know what I mean? Like, none of these parties are good. But the Democrats allow the TikTok ban to happen, and they were like, you know, we're gonna leave it to the Trump administration to, like, make the decision. So they basically just handed it to Trump, which is perfect for Trump, and in my opinion was the overall plan from the start, which is Trump, you know, was one of the first people saying about the TikTok ban. The Biden administration allowed the ban to go forward. You know, the app literally turned off for Americans last night. And Trump comes into office tomorrow at the inauguration, and Trump has, you know, released statements saying that one of the first things he wants to do is put an extension on the TikTok ban to allow a deal with, like, a 50-50 split with, like, an American investor so that the Americans have some sort of say in it or whatever. So Trump is now saying this, and there's going to be, you know, like a delay on the ban so people can still use the app and blah blah, which is great. But in my opinion, it was the plan all along. And the fact that people are like, James Charles is currently on TikTok being like, if I have to say make America great again, Trump, make America great again, and, you know, bring TikTok back. And I'm like, Do you guys realize that you have just been manipulated? Like, Trump wanted to ban the app, got the app banned, basically, with a lot of other factors as well, obviously. It's complex. And is now going to extend the app being banned and is unbanning it in theory, but it was because of him, mainly, and a big reason, that they're in this predicament in the first place, and he's being celebrated for saving the app, when in the first place, he was one of the people that really pushed for all this to start in the first place. Therefore, Trump is going to win the young vote for, decades to come, because people are so two-dimensional with things. And people are going to be like, he saved the app. He saved the app. And I'm like, well, that's not actually the truth, Ellen, because when you look at the timeline, it was perfectly curated. And people were saying, Trump can change his mind. He can get the American investors and stuff like this. Let me tell you something. In my opinion, this has been the plan from the start. The TikTok CEO is going to Trump's inauguration tomorrow. Like, he's sitting at the inauguration tomorrow with Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and, all these people that basically run every social media now. Baby, it was the plan from the start. It was the plan from the start to not only own TikTok and turn it into what Twitter has turned into now and having, complete control, but having this story that really wins over the majority of people. TikTok is the most used app, therefore, he can come out as a hero in this. And I'm just surprised, honestly, that people aren't picking up on it more. I see some people posting about it, but not as many people as I would think would be posting about it, and that's quite crazy to me, if I'm being completely honest. So, in my opinion, will, TikTok be back tomorrow on Monday? Very likely. And I assume that it will be back very, very, very soon, if not Monday. Because I know the inauguration is literally tomorrow, so a lot's going on. I do believe that it'll be back, and I don't know what deal will be made or whatever, but it's crazy because, that is a lot of blush, because in the last, couple of years, we've seen this happen with social medias, but really the biggest one was Vine. And what's crazy is Vine was banned to the day of today, however many years ago. Literally TikTok is being banned on, Vine's anniversary of being banned. Or not banned, but, shut down, you know what I mean? Which is really crazy coincidence. But obviously, we cannot compare Vine and TikTok, because a lot of the Vine stuff is literally just pure nostalgia. The majority of people were not using Vine. The majority of people were using TikTok. And it is just really scary that, an app can be shut down. And I talked about this a little bit on Twitter. But, hold on, I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but if you think about how many people have documented their lives on TikTok, I'm just going to finish my thought first. How many people have documented their lives on TikTok? Thousands of videos, thousands of memories, all the rest. For all that to just be, the app to be deleted, or you not being able to access that anymore, is really scary. And if things like this continue to happen with social media platforms, we live in a generation now that document on social media. I was born in 2002, so a huge chunk of my childhood is in photo books, and then the other half of my childhood is in Facebook albums. And a majority of people my age are the exact same. And, people document their lives on these social medias now, specifically TikTok, because it, promotes the daily posting. And sometimes people just post for themselves as well on TikTok. There's going to be this thing that happens mentally if something like this really does continue to happen with social media, is where people will forget chunks of their life, years of their life, because a big thing is sometimes you only remember memories if you can see a photo of it or whatever. That's why people love photo books and stuff like that. You can get reminded of memories. This isn't really working well, so I'm going to have to do this. And the reason that I made this post about, like, when we're posting on social media, we're told, like, everything online lasts forever. And it's really crazy that that can not be true when it comes to, like, the documentation of your life. And a lot of people were like, Adam, you're so chronically online, and, like, this is, like, such a loser take and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can understand, you know, people having that attitude of, like, it's just a social media. But the reason that I made the post was because I follow a lot of creators on specifically TikTok who are no longer alive, and they documented their, you know, their life before they got diagnosed with cancer on TikTok. They documented their entire time going through chemotherapy, and their account is now in memoriam account. And while I do believe that TikTok is going to come back very soon because of the reasons that I said prior, it's really scary that there could be a chance where maybe family members aren't able to access, you know, an entire archive of their loved one's life because of social media just shuts down. And again, when we're posting on these social medias, we don't think that one day the entire social media will just be deleted, because again, we've grown up thinking that everything online is permanent. We're told that in a negative connotation. You know, don't be posting bad stuff online because it'll come back to bite you in the ass. You know, everything on social media lasts forever. And, like, these are things that have been drilled into at least my generation. And so for just, like, years of your life to be able to wipe out. And the memoriam thing was something that just made me really sad, because I'm like, say TikTok never came back, right? Which I don't believe is going to happen. I do believe it's going to come back, and that it was the plan all along, and it was just this, like, form of, you know what I mean. But that's really sad and really scary. And think of how many people have, you know, documented, while I don't agree with it at all, because I don't agree with posting your children, but let's say in an ideal situation, they have a private TikTok account with just family members following it, and they've, you know, documented their child growing up on a private account with just family members. And you know how I feel about family posting, but I'm talking about in a private forum, the equivalent of a Facebook with just your friends and family. Imagine all that just being deleted. And people were like, it's just a social media platform, get over it, and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's the world that we live in now. It's not just a social media platform. And again, I'm someone that a lot of people, when I made that tweet about how sad it is that entire years can be wiped out of people's memory because of these social medias, they're like, you're only saying that because, like, you do social media as a job. Yeah, but I don't post on TikTok to make money. I do not make money on TikTok. I've never been on the creator fund. I've never applied to be on it. I posted on TikTok, you know, for fun whenever I did, but I prefer watching TikTok rather than, you know, whatever. And so I completely deny that argument of, like, you're only saying that because you're, like, doing it for money. Because I promise you, with TikTok, I've never made a single penny on a TikTok ever. Nor have I ever tried to. But if I was to lose my TikTok, you know, there's things on there that, you know, I would be missing, and I would be sad to see go. But it really did make me think about my friend Alexandra, and I always bring her up. You know, she died of cancer, and I frequently go on her social medias as a way of remembering her, you know, going through all her posts and stuff like that. And there's people out there that have lost their children or lost family members or lost whatever, and their way of really reliving them, specifically with the likes of, like, TikTok, is watching these videos of them. And again, it's just sad that that can be wiped out. And I think another thing as well, completely moving on from why I think it's so sad that, like, an app, specifically TikTok, one that, like, people rely on, you know what I mean? Like, people rely on TikTok. Is it unhealthy? Probably for a lot of people, because people got really dependent on it. And TikTok will never be replicated, because TikTok blew up really organically during the pandemic, whenever people were locked inside, and it, you know, and so people have grown up on the app. You know, I first started watching TikTok when I was like 16 or 15, and that was, you know, way after it was Musical.ly. And I'm now 22. And there's people that are much younger than me that were posting on it. And think of, they spent their entire childhood on it. I'm not saying I agree with that. My camera died, but I'm back. I'm also waiting for my room service. Some yummy food is on the way. But anyways, it is just sad that like people have grown up on it. And also another conversation is that people are really dependent on it. And people have an addiction to it. Because like what I was saying with it being, you know, during the pandemic and it was a comfort thing for people, people now for 5 years have had this dependency on going on TikTok and scrolling on TikTok. And obviously that's unhealthy. It's an addiction. But the way of dealing with that is just deleting the platform. There are millions, multi-millions of people in America right now as I'm filming this video who have no idea what to do with themselves because they would spend their spare time on TikTok or time to pass on TikTok. You know who also does that? Me. You know who also probably did that? You. And just completely taking that away from someone is literally like going cold turkey on an addiction. And again, I'm not saying I agree with an addiction or whatever like that, but not only are the ramifications of wiping out entire social media platforms and getting rid of people's memories and entire people's lives, but also the fact that I don't know if TikTok will be banned long term, what that would do to people and how people would be able to handle themselves, or it could lead to a lot of bad things as well. You know what I mean? Like people being really dependent on something and you just stripping that from them. We don't know what that's going to look like. We really do not know what that's going to look like. And that's scary. And that's why I hope that, you know, things get sorted out very soon. But again, I do believe they will, because I think this was the plan all along. Just ultimate control. And again, it'll be another social media that'll be ran by one of these fucking guys that run the other social medias. If Elon Musk buys TikTok, I can't. That like is worst case scenario. But I think it'll be overran and not how it ever was again, which is really unfortunate. I think the algorithm's going to change. I think it's going to turn into a very propaganda website, quite like how Twitter is now, and it's just never going to be the same internationally. You know what I mean? Internationally, globally, which really sucks. And then the other point that I just want to make is how many millions of people that are in America right now that are fearful of their life because the way they make money has been wiped out. And people have been making jokes about this, being like, all the little TikTokers, you know, having to work at McDonald's tomorrow, which, by the way, if you ever engage in those type of memes, I, like, fucking hate you because it's, and not to be, like, the woke police here, but, like, it sets such a negative connotation towards working at McDonald's or driving a bus or whatever. You're like, these are the kind of ones I see, and I'm like, who do you think you are so much better than anyone else? And it just is like, to make a joke, like, you're having an entire other set of people be the butt of the joke, and it's just so unnecessary. And by the way, those type of jobs that people, you know, always be like, oh, these people are gonna have to do this now, are some of the most important jobs in the world. You know what I mean? Like, not like literally the fucking Kelly Osbourne, who is going to be driving your bus, Donald Trump? Like, who is going to be packing your McDonald's, Donald Trump? Like, who, like, literally, these are important people in society, and I fucking hate the way it gets phrased. But anyways, yes, there are thousands of, you know, influencers who are, in the sense, out of a job today, don't know how they're going to make money. And that's really unfortunate, regardless of how you feel about it. If you're watching me right now, then you should feel a little bit of sympathy towards those people, regardless of if you like them or not, because that's you watching my video right now. But furthermore, what people don't realize is the influencers, for the most part, are on other social medias and can make money and have brand deals and all the rest. You know who doesn't? The small businesses that literally depend on TikTok for income. For when we make fun of TikTok Live and people begging for money, that is so separate that businesses that operate fully on money they make on TikTok, whether it is selling products or ads they run on videos. So think of the amount of people that have small businesses in general, that are fearful for how they're going to have access to the money they've made because TikTok is now shut down. Do they even have access to the creator fund to see their money now? I don't know. And how they're going to make money moving forward. Are they going to make money moving forward? It's scary that an entire government can shut down with really no notice, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? Like, they said about this ban and stuff, but the way that the ban was going to come into effect really wasn't agreed until yesterday. And also, shutting down at midnight was really being shut down at like 9 p.m. People were being shut out of that app hours before they were supposed to. So there was no form of communication there. There are multi-millions of people out there that their business is gone. And that's why I don't like that people aren't taking this seriously. People, you know, go, oh, you're too addicted to social media, or, oh, these stupid influencers. This is the biggest app on the internet. And with that comes more than just your perception of little whiny influencers, little whiny LA influencers. These are day-to-day people who pay their bills, feed their children based on what they do on TikTok. And I just think, in closing, it's really scary that it can just be wiped out, and that a government in general can just turn off an app overnight. It really is scary. And this is the biggest app in the world that this is happening to. This can happen to any of your favorite apps. Yes, the likes of YouTube and all like this are run by American companies, but we've now seen that any government can just shut off an app and people's livelihood overnight. And again, this is so far beyond an influencer or a TikToker. We're talking about business owners, small business owners, people in your daily life. And so, yes, I do believe TikTok's going to come back. So if you're like really stressed right now, like, just know that I do really believe that it will be back, because it benefits everyone. It benefits the government for TikTok to come back. It benefits the Trump administration if TikTok comes back. So it's going to come back. From the losing memories and the everything is forever not being real, to people losing their livelihood, to people not knowing what to do with themselves because social media is also an addiction. Hi. So we got 5 hard-boiled eggs and some hot sauce. We got some carrots. We've got some French fries. We've got some broccoli. We've got some carrot soup. And we've got some bread. But anyways, I'm going to love and leave everyone. If you are stressed and worried and all the rest today, very, very, very normal. But just know that I do believe it's going to change very soon. It ultimately benefits these people for TikTok to come back. But yeah, they're just my thoughts on it. Very, very, very interesting start of the year overall for everyone. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.